Greetings, this is Ty Brown, and welcome to the Business of Creativity podcast, the unofficial podcast of the GWBA School of Business. I'm joined today by Kaity Iwashita. Kaity is a second-year full-time MBA student, and she also serves as the co-president of the GWBA Women's Business Association. Greetings, Kaity. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Glad to have you on, Kaity. It's good to see you as a second year, right? Now that I've graduated and you are in the upperclassman's chair, I guess is what you call it as an MBA.
Big man on campus.
Yeah, exactly. There you go, right? A little bit about your background. Undergrad at UC Santa Barbara, where you studied economics. You worked for, out of college, you worked for in fintech, in marketing. You worked for a dating app as user acquisition. And then you worked at one other job where you were leading a team in user acquisition. So you have a wealth of experience. I want to talk to you a little bit about that. Talk with you about the internship you did, how you found the internship, and then what you expect from your second year. First, tell us a little bit about what exactly is user acquisition, because that sounds like something that's important in terms of marketing, bringing on customers, etc.
Yeah, so it falls under marketing primarily, sometimes under growth, but it's really campaign management. So when you get ads on Facebook, Instagram, those very curated personal ads, that's user acquisition. I'm the one managing those campaigns to talk to our future customers to say, this is what my app is. This is why you should download it. And then eventually try and get them to subscribe. So it's almost like a lot of apps don't have sales teams. User acquisition is the one bringing the revenue because we are the ones that are getting people to subscribe and spend money on the app.
So they don't have a sales team. They aren't focused on user acquisition. You see what I mean? Like so if I have an app and I don't have a sales team, do I have to depend on a third party to do the
Yeah, so a lot of people will hire agencies or the third parties to manage these campaigns because in order to get people onto your app, you really need to have some user acquisition. Otherwise, no one's going to download it. No one will know about your app.
Right.
So you need to run ads. And then so there's people that manage that. You can have it in-house, which is what Zeusk and Life 360 did, and that's why I was there. Or you can hire a third party, which is typically an agency, and they're the ones who will manage all these campaigns for you, along with thousands of, like a bunch of other companies that they're also managing. Yeah. So they don't have all their energy put into just your campaigns. So that's why a lot of companies will bring it in-house.
It's interesting. So what you did at these places, like, did you identify a certain type of person and then target those ads, and that's the start of the process, the funnel or whatever it is? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it starts by defining who your key, your target audience is. And there's usually different groups of that, but you start with one specific one and you'll curate ads that are specific to those people. So let's just say an example for Zeusk, it got really specific, like Christian dating. So we would create ads that were specific to Christian dating and that would catch the attention of anyone who was interested. And then all the copy would be specific to that.
Okay.
So then people would come in through those ads to then it would lead them to Zeusk. And then it would have a specific flow, user flow or sign up flow that was specific to Christian dating.
Yeah.
To make it.
Yeah, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Your experience is interesting. And I imagine understanding that aspect probably helped with your internship and whatever you're going to do post MBA. But before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about your role as co-president of the GWBA Women's Business Association. Did I say the title right?
Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know.
Right. Tell me about that. Tell me about that relative to your first year.
Okay.
What made you be interested in leading the organization here as you're in your second year?
Yeah, for sure. So one of the first people that I talked to at Pepperdine, aside from Laura, because she was my emerging leader, was Christine Donato.
Okay.
And she was a co-president of the Women's Business Association. And she actually brought me on as VP of Marketing Communications. So I was leading any of the marketing content, all the social media platforms that we were on. which was really fun. It was very interesting. Got to see everything that the club was doing since I was creating the
Oh
content
yeah.
for them and any flyers that we needed. So that was really great. And I worked really closely with Christine and Lauren Elsner, who is also co-president. So worked really closely with them to kind of create a vision for the club. I was really engaged with them, and they saw that and asked for me and Diane Gutierrez to step in as co-presidents once they left. And I know that last year it was difficult because we were transitioning back from the COVID
Right.
virtual world back onto campus. So with that in mind, Diane and I we had an idea of what we wanted the club to be this year,
Mm-hmm.
given that we are fully on campus. There's nothing virtual about it. We wanted to make sure that we created an experience that our members really want. So we had our first on ground club meeting last month, which was great. It gave our members a chance to meet each other,
Yeah.
come onto campus. Because there's people in the FEMBA program, EMBA. There's obviously full time, but it brought everyone together on the Malibu campus so that we could network because our club is the biggest club on campus. But then also just to get to know each other. We had a nice meeting where we talked about the goals of the club, introduced our board, and then opened the floor up to anybody who wanted to share what they wanted to see our club do. Because for us, it's like we want to create an experience that would fulfill you as an individual. So, like, what do you want out of this club? Because we want to help bring that to life. So we really want to hear from our members to create that experience. And then afterwards, we all just like went out and ate together, which was great. You got to socialize and meet everyone outside of the professional or school space, which I think is also very important.
It is.
So that's really like what Diane and I are trying to do this year is to get our members more involved. We're also creating a membership program, or not membership, sorry, mentorship program with a local high school, which I think will be great. They reached out to us because they created a women's business
Oh
association
yeah. Interesting.
for their high school. They saw what we were doing and wanted one of their
This
own.
is local here in Malibu.
It's not Mount. It's well, I guess it's not too local. It's Granada Hills,
Okay. Yeah.
but like it's in the valley, I
Yeah.
think. So we're actually going to create a mentorship program with them, which I think will be really cool and something that we've never done before. So it'll create a lot of opportunity for our members to become mentors and kind of teach the next generation what we've experienced. Take from what we've experienced and mentor them into post high school life, which is also great for them. A lot of these high schoolers are talking about like specifically finance. Like they just want to learn about the financial world, but they're not really aware of everything else that's out there and all the other industries that they can go into. So I think it's really important that we
Yeah.
mentor these
So
individuals and show them, yeah, take from our experience, show them the ropes a little bit.
here's some things you can do. I think that's
Yeah,
excellent. In my mind, thinking on the 50,000 foot level, it's like that's also recruiting, right? Because at some point they could want to
exactly.
get
There
their
you
MBA
go.
or become a part of Pepperdine Grazie deal.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Thinking about the GWBA, when Catherine started a few years ago, I met her a long time ago, and actually she was one of the first interviews on this podcast, and I was very impressed with her because she's like super organized and had excellent advice on how to be successful as an MBA student. But to start it right, leave a legacy of starting an organization. Lauren and Christine take over, and it's like, okay, we're going to have all these events and keep people engaged, and have the big event they had this past summer with I guess the women
Mm-hmm.
club.
Yeah.
That was excellent, right? And to have a number of events, and now you guys are taking it a step further in terms of we're going to continue to have events. We're going to make sure everybody gets together and know each other, but we're also introducing this aspect of mentoring young women
Yeah.
so they can understand what business really is and understand how to be successful once you get out of high school. I think those are all
Exactly.
excellent
And
things.
like making sure that you're empowering the younger generations to make sure that you are continuing to empower women in the workspace. It is important to also keep in mind that we don't want to just concentrate on women. It is also understanding that men play a huge part in this as well. Their club is open to men, same as ours. So it's really like this year, we're also concentrating a lot on the male allies piece. Not only just having events where female executives come speak, but also having male executives come in and to talk about how they empower women in their workplace. What are their companies doing? What kind of things are they doing within their companies to make sure that they are empowering gender equality and women in the workplace?
Yeah, what's great about it is I was a member when I was a student and still a member, I guess, now that I'm an alumni. So you see
Yeah.
people involved in the aspect of men talking about how they've empowered women, but also men talk about how they've been empowered by women is an excellent thing for you guys to do. So
Yeah.
I really appreciate what you're doing there with that organization. Let's tie back to school. The first year here in your MBA program, tell me about your experience. You just told us about GWBA,
Yeah.
right? We heard about the experience you came into the program with, but tell us about your first year experience and what you took away from it.
Yeah. I mean, I think that my first year experience was great. I mean, I think having an emerging leader like Laura really helped me. I mean, she was she was hands on. She was there whenever I needed her. We would kind of bounce off of each other in terms of advice. And I mean, I also lived with her this summer for Nike. So she's also been a great friend. But she helped introduce me to a lot of the second years because your guys' second year class is almost, I think it was like more than double the size of our first year class. So there was a lot of you guys, and I was lucky enough to be able to meet a lot of you guys. I did also take it upon myself to plan like social events.
Yeah, 100%.
I just think that's a huge part of your MBA.
It is.
Someone recently told me they're like, your net worth is your networks. I'm like, yes, words to live by in the MBA world. So I think it's really important to be able to network within Pepperdine. And so that's why I wanted to be able to meet as many people as I could. And I think that through those events, through Laura introducing me to a lot of people, and then also GWBA, I was able to meet a ton of different people in all the other programs, which was a big goal of mine. Whenever I talk to anybody about MBA programs, they're just like networking.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And so I really took it upon myself to be able to try and meet as many students, alumni, professors,
Yeah.
staff, all of it. So I enjoyed my first year. I think that like we were like really lucky. Our cohort got really close, and we're trying to, because I'm an emerging leader now for this year's first years. So we're really trying to create a program, or yeah, they call it the Emerging Leaders Collab now. So trying to create a program there that will give them the same opportunities that we did,
Yeah.
and make sure that they're as close as we were and have as much fun as we did, just to make sure that they're getting the most out of their MBA.
Yeah, it's excellent because Laura and our whole class and cohort, we didn't get that. Right, we were virtual for that first year, so when we came on campus, we were like, it can't be like we had it. We got to make sure everybody who comes after us has an excellent experience, and
Yeah.
the environment is created for people to be successful. So that's excellent. Were there any classes that stood out to you from year one?
I would say that so Paul Gift, econ. So I majored in econ at UCSB. Hated it. Hated it. Like if I tried to switch majors, but at that point it was too late and they wouldn't allow it. Yeah, hated econ. Came here, and Paul Gift, one of the questions at the beginning of class is, what is your background in econ? And I was frank with him and told him that how much I didn't like it in undergrad because I didn't feel like I took anything from it.
Right.
Paul Gift's class was probably the best econ class I've ever taken. I learned a lot from it. He's a great professor. I think that the way that he structures his class also makes it go by really quickly, because 4 hours
It's a
is
long
a
time.
long time,
Yeah.
especially for a topic like econ. But he knows that. So he structures it in a way that like once you think that you might start to zone out, it's break time.
Yeah.
He even does like small 5-minute breaks, but just to get you to go outside and take a breather and then come back, and then you're ready to go. So his class is really great. Samuel Seaman.
Good old Dr. Seaman, right?
We love Samuel. His class was always entertaining, and he's a great guy.
Yeah.
I had told you before we started talking that I'm going to a case competition with him at Baylor. So have a great relationship with him. I feel like all the classes I took in spring are just top of mind for me.
Yeah, well, that's
But
fine.
even Granados.
Yeah, Dr.
I took
Granados.
ISTM with him. He was a great professor too. It was great because even after I finished his class, he introduced me to some alumni. And he was just like, I feel like you'd be a great fit for this company and this job. Here's an intro. And that's what's so great about Pepperdine and about the small classes, that you really create this close relationship with all your professors. So they know you on a personal level and they're able to make those introductions. And if they know an alumni who has an open position, they have somebody who comes top of mind.
Yeah.
And so I think that's what's so great about Pepperdine.
That's excellent. That you can name the professors and the professors you liked and the classes you liked. Dr. Gift is an interesting one. But I think that's excellent. I agree with what you said in terms of, especially because everybody you named is pretty much a practitioner faculty, right? They come from some experience out in the field. So I think that's excellent. You were able to get an internship at Nike.
Yeah.
Talk to us about getting that internship and then what you gained from that internship. From what I understand, you were working in member growth, right?
Yeah.
Concentrating on benefits. And a member at Nike is anybody who's in the Nike training club or Nike running club or any of those clubs. And I guess whenever somebody makes a purchase. So tell us a little bit about how you got that internship and your experience while there.
Yeah. So I took it upon myself pretty early to start reaching out to alumni. I knew that Nike was a top choice for me. I actually had a friend who interned at Nike in 2019. She went to UCLA Anderson, and I went to go visit her because I wanted to take advantage of her employee discount. So I got to experience, I met a bunch of the interns there, got to go on campus, really see what she was doing, which was great. And that's kind of when I decided, like, I need to work at Nike.
Yeah.
This is incredible. So coming to Pepperdine, I knew that we had a handful of alumni who worked at Pepperdine. So I started reaching out to a lot of these alumni. Rachel Champion was the first alumni that I was able to speak to. And I contacted her a couple times, just like follow up because like they're busy. We all know that. So I followed up a few times, was able to get something on her calendar. She's in HR, so she was at the time. And so I wanted to get into marketing, but she knows people. So like she introduced me to a couple of people and I was able to get those conversations, and it kind of just like keeps branching out after that. It's like, okay, who else do you think I should talk to? And then they'll introduce you to someone else that they think would be good for you to speak to. And from there, kind of got a feel for what the Nike culture would or is, the kind of role that I'd be interested in. And then I applied.
All that was left was the application, right?
Yeah, I applied. But, Nike is all about storytelling. So I think what really stood out was probably like you need to write a cover letter if you want to get a job with Nike, because you need to be able to tell your story. They're not going to be able to just read that story off of your resume. So the cover letter is really important.
Okay.
So like I've been talking to some first years who want to apply to Nike. I'm like, that's great. Write your cover letter. Like really tell a story about what Nike has done for you, what impact Nike has had on you, and like why you want to work there. So I think that's really important. And from there, I luckily got an interview. The interview process, like I'm more than happy to talk through like interview process or anything, but it was pretty standard, nothing too crazy, and was lucky enough to get a Nike or internship offer. So that's great.
You got an offer, right? If you could name one thing you took away from that experience as an intern with Nike, what would it be?
Just one thing.
One thing. Let's go.
Networking doesn't stop.
Okay.
So we have to do networking to get a job. At Nike, they really emphasized networking within Nike. So I had probably like especially in the first like 5 weeks, had like at least 5 coffee chats a day, where I'm meeting people across my team, but also outside of my team to get a deeper understanding of Nike. And they really want you to do this because if the team that you're on, like it's just a small piece of Nike, you need to explore the rest of it. Talk to other people on other teams to see if maybe you are interested in that team. Once you get a job at Nike, that also doesn't stop. you're still having these coffee chats, because if you want to change teams or change to another department, that's how you do it. You're talking to people, and then they'll let you know about opportunities that come up. So it's just like this nonstop
Yeah.
networking. So it's really important that as MBA students that we really start that and get comfortable with it, because it really doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop. It's interesting because what you're saying applies to almost every
Yeah.
industry, every job, not just Nike. I think that's very important. I ask you this last couple questions here and then we'll wrap. For the record, you got an offer from Nike. Is that something that you can publicly say that you accepted or didn't accept, or where are you on that?
Yeah, so I officially accepted on
Okay,
Friday.
excellent. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm very excited. Yeah, it's always been a dream of mine to work at Nike, so very excited to work there next summer.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank
Congratulations.
you.
I'll ask you this last question, then we'll wrap. You are, what are we, a month or something into the second year,
Yeah.
right? You got this semester, next semester, go off and change the world, starting with Nike, right? Join Laura up there, Roman, and all the other people who work at Nike from Pepperdine, Rachel Champion, you mentioned. Tell us what you want to get from your second year here as a full-time MBA at Pepperdine across the DU.
Yeah, I think that now, given that I've luckily been able to secure a job so early in the program, all I really want to do is be able to make an impact on the first years and everyone else here. So I really want to create like this incredible experience for everybody, regardless of how I do that. So it could be through GWBA. It could also be through being an emerging leader, or just like creating, like throwing these mixers that I've been throwing. But I really just want to make sure that like everyone here, even people in my cohort, are having this great experience, and that they don't regret coming to Pepperdine. Pepperdine is small. I mean, it's not like the UCLA Anderson or the
Yeah,
USC Marshalls out there. We are a small school, but that's not a bad thing. Like, we're able to create this tight-knit network, and we really need to take advantage of that. And also, I've learned that we kind of need to take it upon ourselves to create the experience that we want.
yeah.
So that's really what I'm concentrating on for the remainder of my time here. I really just want to make sure that the first years, even like exchange students, MSMBA or MSGB students,
Yeah.
are having the ideal MBA experience regardless of our size. So that's kind of like the impact I want to
That's an
make.
excellent thing, right? You want to leave a legacy, right? Of making
Yeah.
sure, same thing. Laura, myself, all of us want to do the same thing with you guys, and you guys want to do the same thing with the first years. And hopefully that'll keep going so that
Yeah.
everybody's connected and everybody has an excellent experience. Kaity, this has been an excellent conversation. I really appreciate you joining us here on the Business of Creativity podcast.
Thank you.
That was Kaity Iwashita. Kaity is a second year full-time MBA here at Pepperdine Grazie Dio. Of course, just accepted an offer at Nike.
Yeah.
And of course, this is Ty Brown with the Business of Creativity podcast, the unofficial podcast of Pepperdine Grazie Dio School of Business. And keep in mind, the role of a leader is to create and maintain an environment that people want to be a part of. And as always, be better tomorrow than you are today.